Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe football show. As you can see, I'm not on my own tonight. I have a guest. It's Matty from Imagine Not Being Leeds, the inaugural goal scorer in the Content Creator Cup. Fantastic tash he's got going on, fresh trim. You're looking good, pal.
Cheers, mate. Thank you for introducing me and mentioning the 3-yard screamer from a few weeks ago.
They all count, mate.
They do, mate. Coached by Danny and captained by, the legend that is Mr. Joe
The
W.
trophy's there, bro. It's there for us, boy.
Class, man. Class, man. Never forget that moment, mate. Never forget that day. Class. But yeah, I'm all good, mate. Oh, brilliant. I'm all good, mate. A few quiet weeks. Seems
Tap
to
in the king and fall on the floor.
That's me, Ryan. But yeah, all good, mate. All good. Ready for Monday now, pal. Can't wait.
Yes. No, me neither, pal. Yeah. So, listen, great video in Ireland, as has been said by people in the chat. Matty, are you available Monday night by any chance? Asking for a friend, Daniel. Oh, right, okay. Well, let's talk about the striker situation. I think what Dave's implying there is that we need a striker, and if Matty's available, let's make it happen. But I did put a poll, mate, that's been up for about an hour. Obviously, people are early and whatnot, so they've voted in it. Currently, 64% of people are happy with the deal. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, what do you reckon? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, let's be fair, mate. We knew if we were to entertain a deal like this, we knew it would split the fan base, and 60% on the poll is pretty much just splitting it, just leaning in favour of him. But it's quite close. We knew, mate, that it wouldn't go down too well with a big section of the fan base. And I think that's any club that would have signed him would have had a similar sort of vibe with it. There's no else in it other than really the injury record.
It was never going to go down well, Matty, was it, if we're being honest?
Let's be fair, Joe. Notoriously free transfers don't anyway, because you've always got that notion that you can always turn around and say, well, they're doing on cheap and this and that, where, just because a free transfer doesn't imply that all the time. Sometimes it maybe does. The fact that Everton offered him a new deal goes to show that he wasn't done at Everton. They for me, if
the clubs wanted him as well. Apparently, he turned Sunderland down.
I heard Scum were looking at him at one point as well. I don't know if he turned them down or what, but I feel like Everton have, they've backed him, they've paid for all his medical bills, which has been a few, we can't hide from that. Yeah. And then maybe now offer him a new contract, maybe they can see past that now, thinking, right, he's 28, he looks fit for first time in X amount of years, and maybe that's why they offered him a deal. Look at us with Bamford, I know he's a bit older, but we haven't done that with Bamford because we just can't take that risk, because we maybe don't see him being that, kicking on again from where he was. Whereas maybe with Calvert-Lewin, they're looking at his age, looking at, in training, I was being towards back end of last year. Maybe you can see that spark, that little glint in his eye again, that maybe he's got some. He's turned them down for a new start somewhere else. And let's be fair,
he's a Yorkshire boy as well, mate.
He's look, Yorkshire lad, joining Leeds United. It's sometimes you just need that, reset button in your career, in your life, and great club to move to, for himself. We know how the fan base is at Leeds. A decent start for Calvert-Lewin, mate, and he has all the fans on side. And as a profiler striker, he probably ticks every box. It's just, can we keep him out of physio's room? That's pretty much it, mate.
Yeah, no, exactly, mate. I think, look, the end of the day, he scores 10 goals, happy days. Do you know what I mean? If he gets his 10 goals, happy days. I think, okay, he'll be on a decent wage, but naturally it is going to be a decent wage for a guy that has as much Premier League experience that he has. He's got 11 caps for England. We can't forget that very profitable season he had under Carlo Ancelotti, and you hope that he can find some, some of that form. We've all seen the clips doing the rounds today. The guy on his day can play. The guy on his day moves better than any striker we've got, Matty. I don't know about you, but a fully fit Calvert-Lewin coming in, he becomes the number one for you, or do you still back Pirro? I know you didn't agree with my sergeant, but what about Calvert-Lewin?
Probably not to start with. We know under Farke, sometimes it takes a while to sort of get starting, but I would assume if he gets to the point where he starts a game, you'd like to think if he's fit, he will keep that position. I mean, a fully fit Calvert-Lewin is an England player, fully fit. If he'd never had these injury layoffs, he'd been playing for England.
100%.
Probably have 30, 40 caps now. So there is that. Like big clubs have looked at him when he's fully fit. So yeah, probably something in that, mate. If he is past his injury woes, he probably does start for Leeds this season. But I think it's great competition between all three of them. I don't think any one of them will.
They all offer different things as well, which is good.
I think so. I don't think there's one standout at the minute. I think all three, like I say, they offer different things, different games, which I think this season you're going to see Farke be a little bit different in that, change formations, potentially different opposition, which we haven't really seen. Maybe different personnel where he's kind of been stuck on an 11 for the last 2 seasons. Maybe that's because he didn't have enough players he liked or trusted. Now I feel like he's got a bigger squad. You're probably going to see an adaptation game by game, which probably plays into all three strikers getting decent minutes and hopefully similar numbers, Joe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You bang on. Do you have a concern? And it would be classed as a concern that Leeds United have done in the striker department, because it almost feels that this is a knock-on effect of us losing out on Muniz. To be honest, mate, I was told. So obviously I was told the information, but there's someone who I would say is messaged me today after it had gone off, basically saying that they were told it was done on Monday because we'd already heard that Muniz was off. And as I've maintained throughout the window, a lot of the stuff we see on social media has probably already happened anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's already yesterday's news when it's happened. But yeah, apparently it was done on Monday, and maybe, a few articles put out like, oh, we're still confident and stuff, was more of a case of, saving face in a way. But it was quickly coming to a realization that Muniz, unfortunately, I would have loved him, he was going elsewhere. We weren't, the money was getting a bit crazy, and then Atalanta come in. So do you worry, though, that it is just them three now, or would you hope that, because I seem to think that might be it now, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that was it, if I'm honest. I think 3 into 1, is it enough when you've got 2 of them that have recent injuries in Mechard and obviously DCL? I'm not too sure. You'd like to think, you're never going to have a position where both are going to get injured at the same time. But, look at Ampadu and Tanaka. No? Ampadu and... I think it was. Yeah, sometimes happens, doesn't it, where you get a multitude of injuries at once. You'd like to think that doesn't happen. But if it does, is 3 enough? Maybe not. I sort of look at it and think, I've been told, we all get told bits, whether it's right or not, that we are looking at Ori Oscarson, the Icelandic striker. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. But I would suggest maybe they bring a 4th in. We haven't looked into the loan market yet. Potentially we bring a loan player in, or maybe someone who isn't nowhere near the level of a Muniz. I could see a 4th player coming in who's maybe a bit more of a project, if I'm honest, Joe. Like a younger player, like maybe 21-year-old. Maybe it's a loan from just to give us that bit more in terms of numbers. I think the quality's there in the 3 we've got. Let's say they all offer something different. I know you expect Pino to do well and get that around that 10 mark. There's no I've seen in Mechard that doesn't suggest he'll get 5 or 6. He's got 2 in pre-season, and we all know DCL, if he manages 25-30 games, he's going to get somewhat close to Pino, I would imagine. So I think as a combination, sort of combined, you'll get enough from all 3 of them in their shared minutes to sort of suggest there'll be enough goals, I think, to keep us up. And that may be a wild take to some because we haven't got a Muniz. Some won't be happy unless we have a £40 million winger and a £40 million striker. And that's just how it is, I understand it. What's his most expensive player currently? Stack. What I'll say is Stack's going to be a worldie for me. You may look at the transfer fee and think, we haven't, but he's way better than Diarra in my book. So we've paid less for Stack than what we'd have paid for Diarra. So we've got some deals spot on. But yeah, it's not a lot of fans won't be happy, Joe, unless we spend, another 70-80 million on the last couple of players.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And obviously, I don't actually know who said it, but obviously we heard 30 million each position. So naturally that gets fans excited. I get it. But, we've spent, 70 odd million now, and we've got 8 players in. I mean, it's not a bad return, if we're being totally honest. You just hope now, or my hope is that the money saved, and that's what it is. You know, the money
Yes.
saved on Muniz for DCL, for example, is now spent in the wing areas, mate. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we'll get a 10. I think he'll go with a 3 in midfield, and I like that, mate. I think it means, you know, we will be more defensively sound, and that's what you need to be. Let's be honest.
Where would you see El Kanous playing, Joe, if we brought him in?
Well, I spoke to Lockie about this, and Locks, actually, the Leicester fan, and they said he can play as an 8. They said he can play as an 8, no bother. He's got great long balls. He can also play out on the left. But also, if we do need to pivot with a 10, then he can go in there as well. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't see any problem in that. But I also then go, do I see a place for him in the midfield? Who's coming out? It depends on the opponent. Like you said, I think if we're going up against Newcastle 3, if we're at home against Sunderland, he might go 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so we do need different strings to our bow, and I think we will get that. I hope. How do you feel? Because obviously there's been talks of the manager being tactically not flexible enough, but we've already seen now in pre-season he is willing to switch it up with the 3 in midfield, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been obviously, you know, 3 draws, 2 wins, undefeated in pre-season. It's been a decent pre-season for me.
Yeah,
we haven't lost any big hitters. We've brought in a volume of players. We'll see as the season goes on whether they're the right ones. You know, it's hard to call now, but we're undefeated. That means something for me in pre-season. It means that the little connections between the new players you're trying to build and the cohesion. It means it's working now. Otherwise, you'll be losing games. We've seen Sunderland. Maybe they've got deals that are happy with. Maybe in a month or 2 they'll be fine. But losing in pre-season is not the be all and end all. But it shows what you're doing in training is working right now. And to go into Everton undefeated, just played 5 games as a group, not lost. That does give you confidence, you know, as a group 100%. Of men going out to, you know, kick a bit of leather down the patch of grass, lad. You don't want to come off and not win regardless. Look at us on Creators Cup, mate. It's a bit of fun, but my God, you want to win. So I get all that. But I like how he's looked like he's adapting and changing and tweaking things more than he ever has done. But we have seen it in previous pre-seasons where he has done a 4-3-3 and never seen it from season. I would say this time it's been a lot more prominent, a lot more obvious that he's willing to change. And I think he's got the players now. Is, you know, even when you look at Brendan Amundsen, who's probably going to be a bit part off the bench, you know, he can tweak.
He's looked good, hasn't he, in pre-season?
He looks better on right. He looks a lot better on right. But I feel like he's got sort of every tool for every position now. You know, whichever he goes with, he's got. Even if it's like Pirro, you know, drops a bit deeper, or Mecha drops a bit deeper, you know, he's got players and who can sort of adapt and play in different areas. And I think if he doesn't play the 4-3-3, or, you know, he gets stuck in his own ways again, then he'll lose his job for me. You know, it's one of them where he knows where he's gone wrong before. I feel like they backed him, or they are currently backing him. We'll find out in a few weeks whether he's been fully backed. But if he gets the last few players and he wants, I'm very confident that it'll be an half-decent season, bro.
Yeah, same. That hasn't waned. And a signing coming in today, even if it was a free, has helped. I can't lie, because I was losing my mind a bit. Another player that's been linked, it was on Wacko initially. I've heard bits through the grapevine, is Noah Okafor, currently at AC Milan. Has a host of options, I'm told. Leeds being one of them. He may well have had conversations at the weekend, because obviously we played Milan and he was involved. So that's a player that can play anywhere across the front three. He's played 86 times on the left, 79 times as a centre forward, 40 times on the right, just 2 times in the 10. But obviously it's a player there who has experience at Serie A. He's got experience in the Austrian Bundesliga. He actually played for Salzburg, Red Bull Salzburg as well. So yeah, and FC Basel as well. So has got plenty European, pedigree as well. So that might be a player that could be the next one, right? I think personally, I don't know about you. I know he can play centre forward, but I think he'd be used on the wing more likely. I'm not too sure. I do think they want a winger.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I did a little bit of research on him too, mate, and it looks like at Leipzig he sort of peaked. His market value, which is never bang on, has dropped a little bit. He even had a loan at Napoli, hasn't he, recently? He's obviously in pre-season with AC Milan. Whether he's seen as a mainstay in the Milan side now. We've obviously going out on loan to Napoli. It might be a good time to pick him up. He looks a talent, international footballer. His numbers are, don't get me wrong, they're not Pajal numbers, but he looks what you see of him when you have a little Google and a YouTube and stuff. He looks very direct. He looks like he likes to beat a man, good in tight areas. He's got a shot on him, likes to bring other people into play. He looks very exciting, mate. I won't lie. He's someone that I think we can get a little about you with Grapevine as well. On Saturday, obviously, I was in Dublin. I got a message from a friend of a friend who was part of the media team inside the Aviva, and way after the fans had gone, there was a long conversation go on between Farke and Okafor. I don't know if you've heard it too. Pick side.
I was told that there was a contingent there that were maybe speaking to Leeds United as well. So yeah, it could happen.
Yeah, of course it could. But yeah, I think it's obvious we need someone in that role. The fact that he can play as a 9 as well. Like, if we're looking at it now, do I think is 3 enough? Do we need a 4th? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But if we can bring a winger in who can maybe do both if needed. You know, people say Nonto can fill in at 9. We haven't really seen it, but this guy's filled in at 9, not just a couple of times, but he's done it 40 odd times. So sometimes you get, don't you, a player who's played 150 times up wing and 7 up front. You go, well, he can do
it's
a job.
It's all right,
like
Nonto doing it for Italy under 21, but not in the Premier League.
Totally different. This guy's got, he's played decent competitive football in a decent division across multiple positions. So as much as he is a left winger, it's decent to see him doing, a decent amount of appearances and that. So we all know in football, if you can be versatile and productive in those areas, it's going to benefit, your club. So this is one that seems to be getting louder and louder as the day has gone on.
Yeah.
And with him being slightly out of favour pre-season to prove himself, maybe he just hasn't ticked all them boxes this season. Maybe the pre-season are looking to offload him, and there we are, swoop lad. And yeah, and my thoughts on Ramazani. This guy, dare I say it, is obviously is that level up.
Probably you can say it, bro.
He's probably a level. I don't want to, but he looks a level up, doesn't he, on all those wingers? To be fair,
I would say
time will tell. But I'm really excited by this one, mate. I am.
Yeah, no, exactly. And rightly so, there's some criticism maybe in the chat about this being plan C, B, D, and E. But that, look, at the end of the day, if you remember the season we didn't get Gakpo, we were then supposed to get Bamford, and we ended up with Nonto. Well, Nonto didn't turn out too bad, did he? And it is what it is. I'm not gonna criticize the club until the window's shut. We see what we do, and then the proofs the proofs in the pudding, in it.
One Direction didn't win X Factor, pal. You know what I mean?
What's that? Sorry.
One Direction didn't win X Factor.
This is so true, James Arthur won it that year, I think.
Yeah, I think. Well, I know something like that. Yeah,
James Arthur's done all right, though. Yeah,
isn't it? But yeah, it's one of them, and it's not always your first target's always the best outcome. It's what you go for. Sometimes you might be trying to buy an house and it falls through, or you can't get it over the line. It's your third choice, and it ends up being best decision you've ever made. So it's one of them. Yeah. How many times do you play the first girl you get with? Not everyone's like me, pal. We got back together though after years apart,
Yeah.
But
no, 25-year-old as well. He's exactly the right age profile.
He's bang on. He ticks every box, mate. And like I say, we need him. Yeah. So another one, like whether Schmidt will be in his ear saying "Don't come here, we'll get game time." I don't know. Who knows? But
Schmidt, man, you got to be a decent player. That's another thing. We do need a backup. We do need a backup right back. Big up to Gary Dev from Talking Shut. It says, Joe, my mate, football manager and FIFA. I hear you, bro. I hear you. I hear you. Definitely do.
Fullback's my biggest concern, Joe. It's my biggest concern. Fullback's my biggest concern, pal.
Yeah, Schmidt. Currently. Well, this is what I mean. We'll probably get the presser maybe Friday with us playing on Monday. I mean, if Bogle's not fit with Fox, well, to be honest, no, I think he would go with Byram, and that's why Byram's not played as much in pre-season, because he's like, I need you, because we know what his injury and his fitness and stuff is like. So I think he saves him for that. So yeah, fullback, we definitely need one, don't we?
Yeah, 100%, mate. It looks really weak there, Even though Byram's decent, cover at championship level it's going to be difficult for him at this level, mate. The odd game, don't mind, but it's too risky going in with just Goodmanson and Bogle. The drop off from what Bogle has shown us, and I think he'll step up to Prem. The drop off to someone like Schmidt, it's night and day. It feels almost Perry to Melier level drop off. You know, it just feels such a gulf, doesn't it? Because he's so good and Schmidt's look so poor. I do feel for Schmidt because he knows he's on way out and he's having to fill in at minute, and it's just not working out for him, is it?
Yeah, no, it definitely isn't. But I think it's only fair that we get to speak about your golden boy, Largy Ramazani, because I know you're a big fan of him. Are you concerned that again he's going to see lack of minutes because he hasn't been used much in pre-season, Matty?
Yeah, he's been used in every game, but as a sub, hasn't he, really? He's been coming on as impact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am concerned. It's hard, isn't it? Because obviously it's side before self, and I'm Leeds United, not Ramazani, and one day he'll come when he moves on. It might be this window, who knows? You just got to get on with him. Everyone has their favourites. Everyone has the players that they enjoy watching. I pay a lot of money to go watch him. He's that player. When I'm in stands, I'm like, I want to see him play. Same with Jorginho, someone who gets you off your seat and stuff. But yeah, I mean, not to get many minutes over Solomon. And we are looking at bringing in a player better than Solomon. So I'm stepping up in quality. I think he's good enough to start me for Leeds United.
What, in the Premier League?
Yeah, well, as it stands.
Would you start him over Nonto?
It's a flip of a coin. I rate them both, same. And I know Nonto.
If you were the manager, you're starting him over Nonto, though?
Maybe not. Just for impact off bench, actually. Maybe not. Not. For me, it's toss of a coin. I like them both. They both bring different things. And Ramazani probably is better than Nonto later in a game state and stuff coming off at bench. He'd be more impactful as a sub, wouldn't he? But yeah, I do think his minutes will be limited again. I do think you wouldn't be human if that wouldn't bother you. Would one of these loan moves that you've mentioned before, and I've seen Rangers links and stuff, would any of these sort of entertain him going into the final days of the window if he doesn't get many minutes in the opening couple of games? That bothers me, that worries me, because then we'd have to go get two. So you're hoping, Joe, whether you think he's good enough or not, you're hoping that he stays, because if you deem him as like a backup option, he's a decent backup option, isn't he? You can't get away from that fact.
Yeah. And when he comes on, he always does something, mate. I just think over the course of 90, you're not going to get that from him.
Yeah, I mean, in Champ, before his injury, I thought starting games he looked lively, but again, it's up again a level in it, and it's a difficult one. As much as I rate him, I think the fact that we have been looking at Pajal, we're now looking at Okafor, goes to show that the club want that next level on that side, and I think this will please a lot of fans if we can get this one over the line, because I've seen quite a lot of shade thrown at Solomon now. Where if we'd have signed Solomon straight after Plymouth game, I think everyone would have been buzzing and we'd never mentioned it again. But I think now that Pajal deal's sort of like burnt us, as far it's like scarred us, hasn't it? It's like it needs to be that level now, or nothing else will do. And it's difficult to get them deals done. And is there anyone else giving you those numbers at around that value? Probably not,
I think this is what it boils down to. But I hear it. And listen, I do think he should have had more minutes. I can't lie. But yeah, surprised he hasn't. So, listen, I know you're aiming this at me here. One, Jamie, I don't hate Ramazani. I do not hate him. I just don't think he's as good as everybody makes out. And I'm allowed to think that. I don't love Harrison. I like Harrison. But I also feel I need to stick up for him because I think he's getting an unfair shake. I mean, you were at the ground, Matty. I don't know your situation on booing. Listen, I've booed players in the past. It is what it is. You're allowed to do what you want. But I do think it was a little bit excessive. He probably got more boos than the likes of Aronson, Vobra. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, we were quite close, about 10 rows up front as well, where he were warming up. So it were really prevalent where I were. I mean, I think if you do something wrong, you should get your bum smacked, mate, and get a bit of a punishment. And that's him getting it. The initial boos, I think, running up and down first 10, 15 seconds, I think fair enough. He took it in, he sort of laughed it off, but then it just carried on going and going. It become quite an awkward position to be in as a fan, sitting there and to your left, your right, your front and behind you, that, there's always someone booing pretty close. And it went from sort of laughing it off a bit shyly to sort of not saying his head going down. And when he comes on pitch, it went even worse. Every touch he's getting booed. The corner right at the end were particularly bad. And it's one of them where nobody wants, even the people who really, who don't mind Jack Harrison, probably don't want him here now. He probably don't want to be here. I don't
mind him being here, by the way.
Oh, no, you're probably one of one, but I'm joking. But
no, you're probably right. Yeah,
if you moved on, you wouldn't be sad, though, but you're okay in being here.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But I think it's one of them where he probably does need to go, but I am definitely of the thought process that he is staying now by his reaction. So after the game, he was the only the only fan who sort of came up to, the only player that came to the actual fans and were taking pictures with kids, and he came and clapped all 4 sections as well, away from the group. So, I mean,
he's trying to make amends, right?
And if you're going, Joe, you don't care, do you? You just go down tunnel.
Exactly.
You don't have to build the bridges.
He is staying.
I think he's staying. By his reaction on Saturday, I would say 100% he stays at Leeds United after what I saw.
100%.
And his different profile, I don't want him to play minutes personally, but I can see Farke.
Why don't you want him to play minutes?
Because I want to bring in Okafor and I want Ramazani to stay, and then I don't. All right, it's not needed really. If Harrison's getting minutes, then we've either got an injury crisis or we haven't brought a winger in, you know.
Yeah. So do you not think in certain games he could be beneficial?
Because he tracks back, Farke will think.
That's what I'm saying. Structurally, and all that.
Farke will think it. Farke will think.
Yeah, I think he will.
Farke does. He likes attacking players that aren't too forward thinking. They've got a bit of what's in behind as well. We've seen that before, you know. So someone like him, you know, he played under Dyche at Everton. That's what he's like. Dwight McNeil gets up and down, and he gives you that too. So from Farke's point of view, I can see why he'd be important to the squad.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to get into the chat comments on Harrison. We've done it before. We end up just going round in circles. No, Jen, it is though, and look, we've spoke on it enough. We have to get on board with it. If you like it or not, he's probably here to stay. I would love a situation in which Harrison comes off the bench, crosses a ball, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores past Everton. That would be insane. That would be insane, mate. I can't lie to you. How are you feeling ahead of Monday? Obviously, you'll be at the game. I know you've got tickets for Arsenal as well, so that should be fun, mate. How are you feeling? Because I was very confident, and then I've seen this week, you know, they're bringing in Grealish, they're bringing in Dewsbury Hall, or have brought them in. Got Illiman and Jai, new striker. I did see that Jared Bramthwaite's just got a hamstring injury, though.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be out. That's a positive. But yeah, are you confident? I think under the lights Monday, if you're not confident for that game, then you might as well turn it in.
I think the fixture change, I think it might have changed to Monday. Originally, I would always a Monday, I'm not sure, but that sort of got in our favour, to be honest. Yeah. I think night, you know, under the lights at Ellen Road, it's a special atmosphere. I'm sure most fans will say that, but there's just something about it. I love going, like, that's one of my moments when we got promoted. I'm like, look, many Tuesday night games now, but luckily, you know, there's going to be a few Monday night games, which is brilliant for me. I just think there's potential when you keep your manager and you keep the bulky players, that you get a bit of a bounce going into the Premier League. There is potential for that. We've seen loads of teams do it over years. The fact we haven't lost in pre-season too, for me, that momentum hasn't stopped yet.
Yeah.
So I don't see, and I don't want to get too biased in terms of how it's Leeds. It's Leeds. You've got to sort of park that at times and look at the reality. Everton have been a poor side for the last 3, 4, 5 years, and probably lucky they didn't go down at least one season. I cannot believe they've survived over the last 5 years, but they have, and they probably look the strongest of look now since Ancelotti. If I'm honest, they're going into a new stadium. Maybe that'll hamper them. We'll have to see. But I think the fact it's the first game, Grealish coming in, and Dewsbury Hall, decent signings, which I think will push him away from the relegation zone, unfortunately. Yeah. But I think against Leeds on Monday, I think it's a game. To be fair, we've probably got more pressure on us. I think there's a lot of pressure because of the couple of games after that, and we need to get off to a good start. But for me, I am really confident in our home form being the staple to sort of keep us up this season. And I think on a Monday against Everton, before their new players sort of get going, I think this is a great time, because I think our side that got promoted last season, you know, which a bulk of it's still that. There's that continuity there. That could still be Everton. They've got some big signings coming. Yeah, but will they gel? Will they play?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, so I think it's a great time to play them, and I think we are still in his pomp a little bit going into it. But you can't be deluded 100%. To think it's Everton of old, Joe, because it isn't. They've got some really good players.
No, agreed. We've got to take a little bit of momentum from last season into this, and hopefully we can get a result. If we get 3 points, it's absolutely massive, mate. It's absolutely massive. Right, what I am going to do, we're going to quickly go on to the super chats now. I don't want to keep this all night, mate. We've had like 1,300 people in here tonight. It's insane numbers. Make sure you go check out Matty's channel as well. Imagine Not Being Leeds. If one of the mods can put it in the chat for me as well, so we can get that popped up. We'll go through some super chats, mate. Chris, who's been a member for 27 months, says happy with DCL, but can we keep him fit? Just on this, mate, we spoke earlier on the phone, I think. Well, I know we spoke. I think we touched on this subject. Was like with Solomon, with Byram, they've kept them fit, and them two were injury issues, and they've always been fit and always available for us, mate. So you would hope that with Farke's strict fitness regime, with his, well, the medical team that he's got, he obviously got rid of what's his face, Rob Price, and since then it has improved. Do you think it'll be an issue, or?
Maybe. I mean, there's an element of potentially luck that Byram's got through a couple of years and no big injury. There's obviously an element of that to it as well, but you've got to look at it and go, the players we've had injury concerns, since Farke's been here, we've managed them well. DCL isn't coming. He'll be coming to be our number 9. He may even get the number 9 shirt, but he isn't going to be expected like Patrick Bamford was for us. We need him back. Maybe rushed him back at times as well. And he was never properly fully fit. And you're always risking, more injury. You're risking him being rusty and not getting into no form. DCL, if he ain't quite ready, can sit out for a couple of weeks, because we've got Pido, Metcha, maybe another still to come. So I back the regime we've got currently to keep doing what they've been doing. If you can keep Byram relatively fit, where he has some impact in a long season where you're playing 2 games a week. And Byram did play the odd time when it was back-to-back games and he got through them. Maybe that's training being tailored for their needs. And, I'm sure every team does that to get the best out of individuals. But I'm confident in what we've seen with those cabinet players already, that he'll have a similar impact. And if you get him anywhere near, you've got an England international level player 100%. Still in a decent age. It's a win-win for me.
100%. I agree with you, mate. Big up to Kershaw. He says, I have to say, Joe, often the Twitter reaction isn't the same reaction you get in the stands. I agree with that as well, mate, to be fair. I remember Bamford getting dogs abuse online, and then in the stadium, he got nothing but cheers that season. We were going up and whatnot. So it's fair. What do you make to this, though? Because this has pissed me off a little bit. I won't lie to you before we move on to the next one. Everyone's saying we should have kept Bamford. But these were the same people at the end of the season that were telling me he was League One and should never play for the club. And now it's all of a sudden, we should have kept him rather than getting DCL. I don't agree with that, man.
It's hard, mate, because I don't ever like to say how bad about a Leeds player. But you sort of feel it when you start, trying to defend Dominic Calvert-Lewin and it's sort of going against Bamford. But for me, the comparisons stop at the injury worries, really. That's pretty much it. Because if you have a fully fit Bamford, who's 31 years of age, or you have a fully fit Calvert-Lewin, look at the England caps, 3 years younger, a penalty in 90th minute to win a game, through on goal, there's a difference in quality of finishing. So it stops at the fitness. That's the only thing they've got in common for me is the fitness worries. But if you get fully fit version of both, Calvert-Lewin's, way better than Bamford in my eyes.
He's a good team, right? We all remember Patrick Bamford's hat-trick against Villa when he was absolutely unreal, and he's scoring goals from angles, and he's twisting and turning Mings, etc. You look at the compilations doing the rounds at the minute on Calvert-Lewin, he does that on a more consistent basis. We saw it once or twice from Bamford. He was still a great striker, great movement, but them type of goals where he's able to roll the ball under his feet, etc. There's one at Bournemouth, there's one at Spurs that's doing the rounds on X. Anyone who doubts the player's ability, go see it, man, because honestly, when he's on it, he's a baller.
I agree.
Helen, member for 41 months, big up Helen. She says, evening, lads, DCL is a perfect squad option, just not a starter. Fingers crossed we can keep him fit. Yeah, I think he might end up being a starter, but we'll see. 5 transfer windows under Farke and still not signed a 10, says Jim in the Glass. Do you think we'll get one, mate? I don't think we will,
No.
Unless you count Bilal El Khanous as a 10.
I think it was one of them, mate. I think it was someone who predominantly plays maybe in a different position, but that's their secondary position, a bit like the player we mentioned tonight and potentially El Khanous. Someone who can do a job in there. And I don't see us going out there and getting a straight out 10.
You don't want to be seeing Aronson playing the 10 in the Prem, do you? And I like Harrison, but
no, not in that formation. But I don't mind him on the right hand side off the bench. I've seen enough to think. He even looks like he's been a bit more physical in pre-season. I've seen him against AC Milan corner flag battling for balls. And I think when you're out wide battling it up against a left back as opposed to being in middle getting swamped by midfielders and centre halves, he's probably going to look a little bit more physical. So for me, he's got a role to play. There's a lot of players this season will be on the bench who will get minutes and will get trusted, and we need that. And he will be one of them, mate. He will get minutes in Prem, and hopefully, that's he's better at that role than maybe starting in 10.
Yeah, I think so. Anthony Johnson says 49 has promised to spend every penny that PSR allows. They wanted Paixão, Muniz plus 2 more players. Suggest there is another 70 million to spend prior to DCL. No reason not to believe the 49ers as of yet. No, I agree. And look, if the window shut tomorrow and we don't add anything, we go, well, they've lied to us. But we have to give them the opportunity until the end of the window to finish the window, right?
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. I mean, as well with that 70 million what's left, you know, maybe another deal that we've done has sort of come out of nowhere and they've had to take that deal, and maybe now they won't spend the full 70. Maybe they'll go out and spend, you know, 40 on a winger, but then maybe they don't have to then just force, we'll spend another 40 or 30 elsewhere because we've told them we will. You know, maybe that won't happen now. Maybe there'll be a little bit of a buffer there because they've maybe got a deal done they didn't think they'd get done for cheaper, you know. Like a Calvert-Lewin, maybe. They didn't even maybe we're way down the list and all of a sudden it's become available. They've got him and they're happy with that, and that saved them potentially 30-40 million, whether we agree or not. They may look at it like that.
Yeah, agreed, mate. I do. Abdul Rahman Al Khalifi, big up to you, brother. Walaikum salam. He says big hello to Matty as well. I'm sure we tried to sign Okafor 3 years ago, but that was a higher price. Oh yeah, so yeah. The person I spoke to about this actually said that as well. I can't remember, but yeah, probably makes sense. Jesse Marsh, like Salzburg, etc. probably did. Also, I can see us signing 3 more players before the end of the window. Best wishes. Yeah, I hope so as well, mate. I think we're not done yet. We're definitely not done yet.
No.
Let's have it. I want another 70 million spent at least. Yeah, we've spent 70 odd million, and let's be honest, right? Bar Bornau, they've all looked good. We haven't seen enough of Bornau, but they've all looked good, right?
Yeah, he's probably the one who'll probably play the least minutes out of everybody as well. He looks like a squad player, and if he plays, then it means you've had injuries to maybe 2 centre-halves done it, you know, because obviously Strauch will be back up to Biol and Rodon. If Borjau's playing, we've probably got a bit of an injury crisis going on, but hopefully he turns out to be a decent buy too. But yeah, I think outside that, they're all going to have a decent role to play. That midfield for us is going to be massive this season. You've got 5 you trust playing in the 3 positions, and that even goes for Gruev, who's probably in one of the standouts in pre-season. Fair play to the lad. He's the one that everybody, it's the easiest thing to say is 5th choice in now. We look at the talent we've got in there, he's 5th choice. Well, he's maybe knocked himself up a ladder by, you know, maybe a space or so, because he's played brilliant. Every minute I've seen him play, he's done well. So you got players like that, and that's what competition breeds. Centre-half have got competition. Midfield have got competition. We just need a little bit more competition in 2 or 3 areas.
100%.
And we've cracked it, pal.
Yeah, we have. Evening to both of you. I'm more confident with DCL signed as an extra player in the squad and hope he plays on Monday and scores the winner. It would be dreamland, wouldn't it, mate, if he came off. The thing we haven't really spoken on as well, in the air, is unreal, right? So in the air is unreal. If we can get someone who delivers, I know Stack's been taking them, but if we get a set piece taker, if you've got Stack and DCL in the box, that's massive wins, knockdowns, etc. You know, that could become very profitable for us, mate, in the Prem.
It's like you look at that, mate, and if they are going to be, you know, main starters going forward, you know, like last season we had a big chunk of time where you've got, say, a Gruev playing or a Rothwell. Instead, you've got Stack now in midfield who's going to attack that ball rather than, you know, just a bog standard midfielder, average height. You pin him up top, who's not bad in air, don't get me wrong, but he isn't known as being dominant in air. All of a sudden, you've got Calvert-Lewin. You know, you've got a centre half in Biol who's hopefully a little bit better at heading the ball than what Strauch usually is, even though he gets a few goals every year. I think we talk about physicality and being big and strong, and that's obviously evident in our sort of our reason we've gone for certain players and our targets. That's obvious, but in the air, it's something we haven't seen Leeds be good at since Pontus Jansson days, maybe, you know, for a fair few.
With Bartley, Janssen,
that year you get a corner and you may as well give it as a free kick. We concede a corner and, you know, you're biting your nails. What are we going to concede? Maybe not as much last year, but we've had a lot of time where we haven't been a threat, but we've looked, you know, other teams always look a threat against us. So I feel like that's a massive change for us. And the fact we're not going to score as many free-flowing goals, I wouldn't expect. We're not known for scoring, you know, beautiful free kicks. Hopefully that changes. But goals from corners, keeping goals out from corners, you know, that could be differences staying up and going down. So I think we've recruited really well. And what I like about Stack, just to touch on him, mate, is not only is he every box ticked in a physical element and height and purpose and all that, he's also a baller when it's at his feet. And there aren't many players who are big and physical like that who can do both sides of the game. We've seen that already. I just hope they bring someone in who's as good at taking set pieces as he is, because he needs to be in the box to get on the end of them.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
you bang on the money, Matty. what have you got coming up, mate, on the channel? Obviously, you know, in terms of the game and stuff. Are you doing a vlog on Monday?
Yeah, you know me, mate. I'm for a part-timer, I don't have to put a lot of effort in time into it. I've just uploaded a video with the wife, actually, mate, getting it because we did a vlog for Ireland in Dublin, and she was on that and she really enjoyed it. So we've just done a rating the away kits for the full Premier League. Obviously, I'll spoiler alert, Leeds are #1. But we've just done that and just put that.
I mean, it's true though. Even if you were a Leeds fan, it is true.
It is very true. But go check that out. That's just got uploaded a couple of hours ago. And yeah, I'll be doing a vlog on Monday, mate, and the usual stuff, reviews, and you know me, I've got a mental health podcast too, Full Time to Talk. So there's a bit on there as well coming up. So Joe Blackburn's on next week. So yeah, I'll
oh, nice. That'll be cool.
Yeah, but all good. Busy.
Yeah, let me just get that shared as well.
Cheers,
we'll
man,
put
mate.
that in the chat. Yeah, so going over and check that video now as we finish up, folks, ranking the Premier League away kits.
Thanks, Joe.
It's all right, bro. Yeah, so do that, folks. As for tomorrow, I don't have it's been quite a busy day. I've got a few shows elsewhere. Oh, I've got an Everton preview at 7:30. Anything else will just be happening on the fly, as it were. Today has been a very busy day. I've got a vlog out myself as well. If you haven't watched it, check it out. Make sure you go watch Matty's video first, then go check that out. But yeah, listen, thanks for tuning in tonight. Matty, thanks for giving up your evening. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, peeps. Bye-bye.